Hello, hello, and welcome to Talking to Food Safety Professionals. My name is Dr. Jenny Lynn James, and I'm a food safety professional with over 30 years of experience in industry. With me today, all the way from Accra, Ghana, is Dr. Angela Parry-Hanson Kunadu. Hello, Dr. Parry-Hanson Kunadu. How are you today?
Hello, I'm very well and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us on Talking to Food Safety Professionals. Now, Dr. Kanedu is Associate Professor of Food Microbiology and Safety at the University of Ghana. She's a global food safety expert, policy advisor, public health advocate, and educator and researcher. So we're very excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
Please tell us, how did you start your career in food safety and quality?
Thank you for that question. I'm sure everyone has an interesting journey of how they started their career. I left the shores of Ghana to Canada to study cell biotechnology. Actually, I was admitted into pharmacology. So
Oh,
I left here. My parents thought I was going to study pharmacology. I
yes.
did that for my first year, and I realized I didn't quite like it. So I transferred into a cell biotechnology program.
Yes.
But at the time, biotechnology wasn't a big thing. And I remember my parents would always ask every time I talked to them, what are you studying again? It's like they just couldn't relate to the biotechnology.
Right.
But in my third year, I had the privilege of taking one elective, which was a food microbiology course.
Yes, yes.
And I loved it.
Right.
I could relate to it. I understood what was going on. Not that I didn't know what was going on in my other subjects, but they were quite abstract. We're studying about bacterial physiology, genetics, things like that.
Yes.
And then I discovered food microbiology, and I was like, I was in a whole new world. We're talking about foods that I eat, that I know, that I relate to.
Yes.
And unfortunately, during the course, I had a food poisoning event.
Oh, no.
But for the first time, I understood what was going on in my body.
Wow.
And that was a turning point for me. So at the end of my degree, I knew where I wanted to go. After my first degree in biotechnology, I decided to continue with a master's in food science.
Yes, yes.
So I went to South Africa for that. I did my master's in food science, specializing in food microbiology. Then I continued with a PhD in food science, specializing in food microbiology, all projects on food safety. Then
Yes.
I did a postdoc as well, also in food microbiology. And at that time, I thought, my entire career has been studying and research and all of that. I want to see the rest of the world. I want to go out of the lab. So I took some specialized courses, especially the ISO courses on food safety management systems
Yes. Yes.
and quality management systems. And through that, I got my first job in industry.
Oh, yes,
So
I
I
was
got
going
my
to
first
ask
job in
you.
industry
Mhm.
after my first postdoc.
Okay.
And I did that for like 3.5 years. And
What
I was
was your
working the area of
role?
food quality.
What?
Yes, food quality and safety.
Ah,
Um, that was very interesting because I got the opportunity to practice what I learned in school.
yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's
And
important.
and I worked with different plants. So I used to travel a whole lot. I had a regional position, so I used to travel a lot, visiting different plants, helping them establish food safety systems, but also extending to environmental systems
Oh,
and occupational and health systems. So in
understand.
food factories, that was interesting. I did that for about a year and a half,
Okay.
and then reality set in. I got married. I had my child, and I didn't want to travel all over again. I wanted to be stable. So then I looked for a job in academia.
Okay.
So I started doing that on a part-time basis first to be sure that was what I wanted to do. Because
Right.
I used to be very shy, very quiet. I didn't know I could lecture,
Yeah.
stand in front of
And in front of
a whole
students. Yeah.
group of people and teach. So I had to try that out for a bit. I tested the waters and I figured, it was something I could do.
Yeah.
So I applied for a full-time position, and that's how I ended up in academia. And
Academia.
I've loved it ever since.
Okay, interesting story all the way. And what commodities, when you worked in industry, what food commodities did you work with?
I worked with beverages. I worked with a beverage company,
Okay,
um, with Equatorial Coca-Cola Bottling Company,
okay,
and they, they had businesses within West Africa. So I had a
okay.
regional position of
Yeah,
ensuring that all the businesses in West Africa followed the Coca-Cola requirements and also
nice.
external requirements. So I was responsible for all of that and for our internal food safety KPIs,
Yes,
um,
huge portfolio.
developing them, meeting them, building capacity, troubleshooting, all of that. So it
Yeah.
was very interesting, as in, the issues were never the same. Um, and yeah, I got to interact a lot, to travel a lot and interact with different groups of people. And I think without this job, I probably wouldn't have traveled within Africa as much.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So that job gave me the opportunity to travel a lot within the continent.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And so now, what are some of the challenges you see now in food safety, either in African countries or internationally? What are some of the challenges you recognize these days in food
Mm.
safety?
I think food safety issues are very dynamic, but also still traditional.
Mhm.
Since I'm a microbiology specialist, I'll talk a bit more about the microbiology. A lot of the traditional issues remain, like microbiological hazards.
Yes.
They have evolved into different kinds of commodities because the commodities have evolved,
Yes.
right? And and food distribution has also evolved. Kitchens have also evolved, but a lot of the hazards remain the same.
Okay.
Um, the changes have been to maybe different food types and new methods of handling food, processing food, distributing food, and
Yeah.
maybe some new foods that have also developed. So there's a lot of movement of same issues within these food systems, right?
Okay.
But in addition to that, especially internationally, with the advent of new foods, like um, alternative proteins. There's a lot of work on alternative
Yes.
proteins that are used as ingredients or foods or cultured meats or plant-based meats,
Yes.
etc. Now, when we have these new foods, the traditional hazards and we've done a lot of work on risk assessments. So the hazards that we know well in well-established food systems then change, right? So when we talk
Okay.
about meats, we know the kinds of chemical hazards to find in there, the kinds of microbiological hazards, even physical hazards in there. But when you have new foods, you have meat that's coming from plants.
Yes.
The traditional hazards will differ because the microbes that are typically associated with animal foods will not occur in this type of meat,
Right, right.
which is from plant sources. And also the processing methods may create new hazards that we haven't traditionally identified, right?
Right.
So internationally, these are new, should I say, risks that are surfacing and that we need to pay attention to. Locally, if I take Ghana, for example, as a lower middle income country, again, the hazards are typically the same, but they are shifting. So microbiological hazards are still major hazards within our food systems.
Yes.
Both informal food systems and formal food systems. But the advent of illegal mining has introduced a lot of heavy metals within our environment, within our water bodies, within the soils. And now we are finding them in many of our vegetables, many of our seafood products, aquatic food products. And so chemical hazards are becoming major issues within our food systems. So although these hazards are, again, traditional hazards, like, heavy metal, like methyl mercury, lead, arsenic, cadmium, they've always been there.
Yes.
But we're seeing more of it, and in vegetables that we typically didn't associate them with. Okay, so due to these mining activities that have become widespread and have contaminated the soils. And in Ghana, again, we are also seeing a lot of use of chemicals, maybe food fraud, but also chemicals that are added to food as adulterants, and for forced ripening of fruits.
Oh,
right. Yes, for forced ripening of fruits. So those are emerging hazards that we are finding in our food systems.
Very, very interesting topic. And now, if now you work in academia, so what advice would you give to students who want to enter the field of food safety and quality, or those new graduates who want to make a career in food safety and quality?
Food safety and quality is a critical field, and it's needed everywhere from industry to research, teaching, regulatory agencies, labs, NGOs, etc., that work within the food value chain of food system. So there are many career opportunities, but to work in this field, you need to understand food well. So choosing programs within the food science area of food and nutrition, some may come under different topics like food process engineering, etc. All of these programs usually have strong courses, foundational courses in food quality and safety.
Okay.
So taking these courses are critical. Also, getting some industrial exposure like internships or attachments is important for you to have a feel of what is done within the sector that you're interested in and whether you think it will be a good career choice for you. I mean, all of those are important, but the career opportunities in food quality and safety are numerous. All the food companies need food quality and safety officers. And again, not just in industry, but in other sectors, in government, NGO policy work, research. We all need expertise, and they all need expertise in food quality and safety. So opportunities are a lot in these sectors.
Right. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Kunadu, for joining us on Talking to Food Safety Professionals.
Thank you so much for having me.
Please hit the like button, like our video, and remember to subscribe to the channel Food Safety Smart so you can be notified every time we interview another amazing food scientist. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you.